Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss Phillips, and thank you for joining me for your interactive read aloud today. Today, you will be listening to a text that I will read aloud about homesteaders who moved west and why they built sod houses and the challenges of building and living in sod houses. This is an informational text. Remember, informational texts give facts and information about a topic. This text in particular has many words related to the American history and the methods homesteaders used to build sod houses. Today, you will need your pencil and a reading journal. Go ahead and pause the video now if you do not have these items, and then come back when you're ready. As you are listening to me read, try and answer the following questions in your reading journal in your own words. Why did people build sod houses or houses from sod? And also, what challenges did sod houses pose? Go ahead and copy these questions down so that you can answer them in your reading journal. As I'm reading, pay close attention to the context clues that will help you determine the meaning of unfamiliar words in the text also. Houses of dirt. At one time, large areas of the United States, mostly west of the Mississippi River, were unclaimed public prairie lands. In 1862, the U.S. government passed the first of several Homestead Acts to encourage people to populate on those settled lands. Think, what was the goal of the Homestead Act? If you look closely in your passage, the goal of the Homestead Act was to encourage people to populate and settle in those lands in the United States. The Homestead Act of 1862 stated that anyone 21 years or older who was a U.S. citizen or planned to become one could claim 160 acres of land. In return, settlers needed only to pay a small filing fee and promise to farm the land. After living and farming on a homestead for 5 years, the homesteaders would own the land outright. Even single women and former slaves who had few rights in those days were eligible to take advantage of this opportunity. Why do you think so many people became homesteaders? Keep thinking about that question as I'm reading. By 1900, more than 600,000 homesteaders had staked a claim to a plot of land on the prairie. They included Americans from the crowded cities of the eastern half of the country and immigrants from all over the world. All of these homesteaders needed homes to live in. Many built their homes from sod, chunks of soil from the top layer of the earth, with grass still growing from it. Why would someone build a home from chunks of dirt? Well, the prairies were flat, open expanses of grassland that stretched on as far as the eye could see. With few trees around for the wood and no local source of stone, settlers turned to a building material that was inexpensive, local, and abundant. Building a sod house might have been cheap, but it wasn't easy. Homesteaders had to cut the sod into bricks that were typically 18 by 24 inches in size and weighed 50 pounds each. To cut the bricks out of the earth, settlers used special plows pulled by horses, oxen, or mules. The plows were equipped with special blades that could cut through the thick, tough roots that they grew everywhere in the soil. The question I asked you earlier, why do you think so many people became homesteaders? I think it was because the land was essentially free. Almost everyone could take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you so much for joining me today, and make sure that you answered the questions asked previously. Why do people build houses from sod, and what challenges did sod houses pose in your reading journals? You can always refer back to the text and find your evidence and information.